Have you guys ever wondered what it's like to get behind the scenes of different off-road companies? I always have. So I'm going to take you guys on a behind the scenes, and that's actually what I'm going to call this series, is BleepinJeep's behind the scenes. So let's go check out GenRight, and if you guys want to see other places, let me know down below. Hey guys, we're down here in California, and we're over here at GenRight. This is Tony.
Hey everybody, welcome to GenRight.
This is one of those rare stretched YJs, correct?
Yeah. Actually, the story behind this is my original YJ that I had when I started the company and started making parts for. It got retired a few years back once I built Terremoto, and then my oldest son Jamie, came to me and said, "Hey Dad, would you mind if I built this thing out?" And then he's the one that kind of converted this from a YJ to an LJ that got this whole thing started.
But what got the company started was custom fuel tanks. And that is where Tony decided to focus his business at when he started it back in 2006. And the name of GenRight actually stands for Genuine Ideas Engineered Right.
Gas tanks is actually what I started the company with. Originally, I put in a big, Pro Rock 60 and went out of the driveway and sure enough, bam, right into the gas tank.
Ken? I'm Cole. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
This is Matt, hiding behind the camera. How long have you been working for GenRight?
Since they started, pretty much.
So almost 20 years, basically. I mean, you're pushing 20 years on the market here, so that's awesome.
But he welded the very first gas tank we ever made.
After Ken finishes welding up your tanks, they are then transferred over and they become pressure tested. After they're pressure tested, they clean them up, package them up, and they put them on the shelf ready for you.
So I designed a tank with this notch, and depending on which tank you get from us, the notch will be deeper. The cool thing that I was able to incorporate was all of the factory vent valves and fuel pump. But these are billet aluminum, retain the factory O-ring. You literally drop the pump in here, you reconnect all your vacuum lines to your evap system. You don't get any check engine codes, and the tank works perfectly.
Some people don't realize too that a stock fuel pump, that's what they're designed to do, is sit inside the fuel tanks to stay cool. And an inline pump, that's why they get hot, and that's why they go out. And a stock fuel pump, you can almost get at any parts store. If you do have a problem with it, you can go on any parts store and grab it, where an inline pump you may not, especially if you're buying a high-end one.
That's right. Yeah.
GenRight's engineering department is where all the ideas come to life.
All right, this is Arnold. He's one of our engineers. He's been with us how long now?
A little over a year and a half, I think.
Yep, replacing a retiring engineer.
Yeah.
Yep, so he's new, but what I like about him is he's a Jeeper. So when it comes to designing parts, he's in the groove.
All right. We've got a YJ gang, square headlights.
For the engineers to design the products accurately to bolt right up to your Jeep, they use a thing called a 3D modeling program. It allows them to scan the entire vehicle before throwing it into their computer.
The way this works is when you 3D scan, these little dots give everything the orientation, and you want the dots to be within about your handprint. So that relays into the computer software, and then we can pull that back out and get all the surfaces in relation to the frame, to the motor, to the steering box, to the exhaust, and that really helps us lay this whole thing out in CAD and then design motor mounts and other things that we want to do. This is what we call work in process, right? So these tubes are already bent and pre-cut, so they'll drop right into the fixture. So the welder doesn't have to spend a bunch of time messing around. He can go right to production. What we do is we build the base bumper, and then it's ready to just have whatever tube combination you want to put on there. So whether it's just a front bar or a grill hoop or whatever you want, it's quick for us to just put it right together. So these things are fixtures for our JK corner guards. So that's how they're built, and they're an exact copy of a JK body, but it can take the heat from the welding. So the guys put the plates on there, weld it all together. We do our recessed taillight bucket, and that way we know every time they will fit perfectly. when we say American made, we're talking about it's actually made right here by Americans. All these parts are staged now to get brushed so that they, right now they've got all the marks on them from manufacturing. So they'll get a nice brushed aluminum finish on them, kind of like that over there. And then they'll come back and get packaged. So that's the stages that it goes through.
How much time do you guys spend to actually prep these before you actually ship them off?
Oh, it's a lot. So the tubes, so if you look here, the tubes, after they're bent, we go through and we take out all the marks, right? So now when they're gonna put on the finish before it gets packaged, that everything's perfect, all the marks are out, and it's real easy to put the grain on there. And that way, when a customer gets it, it's ready to just go right on their Jeep. They don't have to paint it, they can show off that they have the cool aluminum stuff right on their Jeep.
So right after they put them together, they get them in here, they package it in-house.
We don't ever wanna get a product to somebody that gets damaged. So my guys way overdo it, and they do a great job. It seems like overkill, but if we have to ship it to you twice, it's underkill. I want to show you on the label. So after it's all done, this gentleman signs it that he's the one that packaged it, so we know it's done right.
Is that your real signature?
That is my signature. Yes, sir. Quick and easy. I had a super long one time, but doing so many boxes, and we're in a process, we're always going and keep moving forward. Just got to get the box out, make sure it's safe, make sure it's ready to ship. Yeah, I mean, it's a great process. It's all really fun.
We make a wide variety of products all the way from CJ through the newest JLJT. We've got dashes, doors, bumpers, fenders, roll cages, rockers. I mean, and full suspensions as well.
And suspensions, framework, and cages is where we were headed next. So what suspension is this? And is this the one that you actually race with?
Yeah, this is for a JK. We call this the Elite. For the two-door, we have what's called the Extreme, so it's two different systems. This system is the one that's in my Terramoto JK that we've raced the heck out of as recently as last weekend. And you utilize the factory frame and make sure that everything's super heavy duty. It all locates on holes in the factory frame, so it's very easy to put in.
A race-ready suspension that has done King of the Hammers.
Yes, yeah.
Like the hardest race in the world, basically. You can buy that suspension and put it in your Jeep.
And put it in your Jeep. So look, not everybody's gonna race, but at least they'll have the confidence of knowing, hey, this held up, hey, this has the right geometry, hey, this is gonna last, right?
Well, the first time I saw the suspension work personally is when we were out at Area BFE and we convinced you to go up Suicide Hill, which I believe, for record, Tony is the very first JK that ever drove up Suicide Hill. And nobody was doing that at that time. That was buggy only stuff. So that was pretty
Cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
So what do we got behind us?
So this is the next generation of our Elite from the JK into the JL, and we call this the EXS. This is completely new frame. The JL has a very high strength, high carbon frame, but you can't really weld to it. It's a little bit brittle. And if you want to replace all the factory brackets with beefier stuff, it doesn't really work good. So we just did an entirely new frame.
So this is what you guys have in your aftershock.
This is what's in the aftershock, yeah. Okay. And this allows it to sit really nice and low and keep that center of gravity down. It's all about center of gravity,
So one of the cool things here they've engineered is a patent pending Jeep JL cage piece so you can remove your cage, correct?
Yes, yeah, specifically for the A-pillar. So I worked with the Jeep engineers on how to attach this to what's now, it's totally different than the JK.
Right. Yeah.
So we had to invent something new to make it work. So yeah, as you were about to show, it drops in there and reinforces that whole section.
It was amazing.
There's a big giant bracket bolted in right here, and then there's one right there as well. So these two brackets totally support this corner with the strength of that 2-inch cage. All grade A bolts, yeah, on everything. This is all the important stuff, right? We were able to retain all this where, you know, the lighted mirrors and everything still work. This has all your hands-free microphones and your garage door opener all built in here. So we retained all that, and you can see that your window is wide open. We lowered the dash bar. These sit in the exact same spot as the factory plastic. So we've really been able to make sure your visibility is the best it can be. The seats are not obstructed by the way we did the X-bar, which is really important. And then all the Freedom Top stuff, like, and everything just lines back up and goes back in. So it's pretty darn nice.
So how did you get started?
Oh, actually, I grew up from the age of 5 dirt biking, riding BMX. I've always been in off-road of some kind. And then as I got older, got a family, I got into Jeeping and still wanted to give my family that experience of being off-road and still give me the thrill of climbing hills and doing stuff. And basically my passion drove me into doing better parts, building better parts than what was available on the market. I grew up manufacturing and fabricating, and I love making things. So this just fit right in with what I knew how to do. And as soon as I built better parts, everybody was asking me for them, and boom, GenRight took off.
I love building them and working on them as much as I love racing or more. You know, I love problem solving. I love trying to figure things out.
You also do tech talks, correct? Where you actually help people learn how to work on their stuff and how to use their stuff.
The show really gave me an opportunity to inspire people and dispel all the garbage that's out there and get them pointed in the right direction.
No Cherokee stuff.
Well, actually, we make a really nice fuel tank, oversized, with a skid plate for the Cherokee, and we sell the heck out of them. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out.
All right, I'll give you one. Check it out, we found a taco truck. Is it Tuesday? No, it's Friday, but I don't care. We need some tacos. We got the American price on the tacos.
Well, we got the American price on the Dr. Peppers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
No wonder nobody can afford to live in California.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of BleepinJeep. If you want to see more places that you want to see behind the scenes, let us know down below. Otherwise, check these videos out over here. And as always, thanks for watching.